on BroadwayCon. Good morning! Good morning! How's everyone doing this morning? Are you guys as exhausted as I am? Oh my goodness. What a crazy day yesterday was. We're on day 3 of BroadwayCon. I need all the energy because we have the best panel today. I'm so excited to be here, and I have to say it's going to be a great day. You know why? I've got with me here 2 stars from Dear Evan Hansen. We're going to start with Jordan Fisher. Oh, we have so much time.
I just cut my finger.
I think I also did, actually.
Yeah, so it's just coming up with the little stick.
I think I just cut it on the chair, so Jordan and I are the same, is what we're saying.
Wow, we got injuries.
Can I get a Band-Aid? I really cut it. I cut my finger. Do you need a...
Is there a doctor in the house?
She said yes. No, it's really like the skin is like there still. Hi, how you doing? Hey.
Please sit down. They've got some backstage.
Oh, okay, we're good.
Backstage.
Backstage, you're going to do that.
Backstage, you're getting the high-end Band-Aids.
I need you to go like this the whole time.
I just think
We are off to a great start.
I don't need a cast or anything. I just think, thank you.
That was a great job.
See what I did there? You saw what I did there?
Starting right off the bat. Wow.
There's blood, sweat, and tears in this.
Band-Aid game is what we're going to call this, right, Punky?
Yes.
Yeah.
Putgate.
Yeah.
Fisher.
Yay!
Oh, you need this one.
Wow, that's the power. That's star power right there. I cut myself like 2 weeks ago. Nobody, nothing. No one? So excited to have you guys here. Congratulations on what is a pretty monumental day. It is your last performance here as Evan today, and your first is coming up right around the corner.
Yeah, man.
So like any good HR, this will be our exit interview and our on-plane. We'll talk through all those things.
Beautiful.
First of all, you guys are friends, right? You have met? No.
Yes.
Excuse me. I was like,
I turned around. Yeah, you came to the show like a week after I started?
It was very, very shortly after you started. It was,
Yeah.
I think it was just a few weeks because it was right after Rent Live, right? I think it was, yeah, because that was the timeline. So like we just finished Rent Live, I came here to do some like press work and things, and then I began working on a different project. My mom came to visit, and she had never seen the show. I was like, I'm taking you to Dear Evan Hansen. It's good, Andrew, he's great apparently, and we're gonna do the thing. So we went and went backstage after and hung out in the blue room and got to meet.
And you were just like the best, and it was such a good energy for me to have in my first couple of weeks. And you were just like, can you just like sit down and talk about like what you're actually doing and like how important playing this role is? And I took it with me. And then when I heard you were doing it, I was like, absolutely, you will be great. Because yeah.
Thank you. Do you remember some of the things that he talked to you about in that when you talked about how important that role is?
Yeah, I mean, you just complimented me a lot, and it was really, really nice, and it was not something I'd experienced to that like degree, because you were just such a like kind and present human being that for me to finish a show and then you'd be like, let's sit down, like you chill, let's chat, and it was like you don't, yeah, but it was really, really, really just wonderful.
Have you guys like seen the skit? It's a pretty.
We've seen Dear Evan Hansen. I figured if you were here, then you had seen it.
Yeah.
We artists and actors, and so we work in a service industry, right? And I think that what kind of gets breezed by so often is that we have a tank, and in this tank is energy. And when we're on the stage for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, whatever the case may be, we're depleting this tank and giving everything that we can to the role, helping the audience suspend their reality for a period of time, and then by the end of it, like especially for a role like Evan, you've expended quite a bit of energy. If the show's 2 hours and 35 minutes long, if it's on stage for 2 hours and 30 minutes of that, really, so it's a lot, and it requires so much. And to see this, 16 then-year-old, just jump into this world and handle it like a champion and give a master class on stage it was incredible. Very powerful to watch.
Thank you.
Wow, well that's right, you were 16 when you got the role.
I was.
Many people know you had a triumphant performance at the Jimmy Awards in 2018.
Hell yeah, Jimmy's.
I was there. I was in the room watching you perform a number from Honeymoon in Vegas and being like, dude, this kid is a talent, unbelievable. And here you are, on Broadway at 16. What was your experience when you were first cast in the role? Like, how did you feel about that?
It was crazy. Okay, so I got an email to go and audition a couple days after the Jimmy's, and I was like, okay. And it was for the triple cover actually, so I essentially had to learn pretty much the entire show because I was auditioning for Evan, Jarrett, and Connor, which if you've seen the show, this is not a Connor thing. but I did. I learned all the stuff, and they ended up not having me do any of the Connor stuff because, of course. But it was in front of Michael Greif and Ben Pasek, Justin Paul, Alex Lackamore, Stephen Levinson, Stacey Vindage. Yeah, I know. I was just this kid. I remember, I think the moment that they were like, okay, this could work, was I walked in the room and I was like, hello. And they were like, hey, Andrew, do you want to do a little waving for us? And I was like, okay, thank you. And they laughed and I was like, sorry, I'm just really excited to be here. And then I did the stuff. And it was a couple days later that my mom got the call. She didn't tell me because I was in rehearsal for another show. I was playing Mr. Toad in Wind in the Willows when I found out I was going to be playing Evan Hansen on Broadway.
Equally important roles.
Equally important.
Just a couple of days after the audition.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
It was all crazy and moved very, very quickly. But it was it was funny because it was like a week-long thing, that Mr. Toad thing. And so earlier in the week, I was doing a crazy Duke of Wesselton voice that whole week. And I remember our director knew that I was going in for Dear Hansen, and he pulled me aside in the first rehearsal and he was like, stop! You're going to ruin your voice for this audition that you had. And then I didn't stop. I kept doing the voice. But yeah,
The voice now, I'm kind of it was actually just kind of.
it's kind of, somebody asked me recently or a while ago to do it sing waving as the voice. It was like, I learned to slam on the break. That sort of thing. Yeah, Wind in the Willows is a great show. You guys should look into it. It's on Broadway HD, I think. It's really good. I'm not in it.
Does the Duke of Wesselton have a significant other? Does he have a wife? It literally sounded like this.
Hard-hitting questions.
Take over.
Yeah, you could be the Duke of Wesselton's wife. Anyway. But yeah, so my mom had a list of all the things that would be happening. You're replacing Taylor Trench on this date, you're gonna have your own dressing room and a humidifier, and you're gonna be tubed. And I was like, I love every single one of these things. Not even, every single one of them was hitting me at a time. It was crazy, and it's still crazy.
And throughout the year, has there been a highlight or a moment where you kind of look back and you're like, that was one of the most amazing things I will never ever forget?
I mean, all of it. I could pinpoint one crazy thing that happened outside of the show, because the show itself every night is so magical. When I got to do the Disney on Broadway concert, the 25th anniversary, and because sort of what happens in this industry is everyone knows each other. And I was still getting to know everyone and very sort of uncomfortable with that. And I was like, oh, these are the days where they all get to know each other. And it's days like this where I'm sharing a dressing room with Gavin Creel and Jane Eichelhart and Michael J. Scott. That was actually the lineup for my dressing room. That I was like, oh, this is where we all get to know each other and exchange numbers. And I can ask Gavin Creel to be in dumb musicals that I write, which I've since done, and you'll be hearing about that soon. Yeah, it's been. That was really cool, but sort of everything, and getting to meet all of these incredible people, like Jordan, this amazing cast that we had, the amazing cast that we've had. We've been through so many different, I think I've had 3 different Cynthias on stage. I think that's the most of any character that I've had. That might be wrong. But yeah, I've gotten to do the show with everyone, and so many, every understudy in the building I've gotten to do with. It's been the most amazing year, and every night has been a gift.
Jordan, how did you come to Edmund?
Oh, how did I come to him? I was.
How did he come to you? Like I said,
Yeah, well, I mean, it would both. So I was working on Hamilton at the time.
Little unknown musical.
It's a really cool little show. You guys, I think that it's on its way up. You guys
heard it here first, right?
Let's talk about Hamilton more. I think our press team would really appreciate it.
So I was working on Hansen at the time, and I heard rumors of this show that was happening, in DC, doing the runoff, and Waving was released. Waving Through a Window was released as a single, and I pop my headphones on and walk into the theater and play the song, and you hear that famous opening riff, and the moment that began, I said, oh, I'm gonna like this a lot. And so I'm getting to know the song and falling in love with it. And by the time I get to the Richard Rodgers Theater, I'm screaming on the street, fully obviously zero context, right? Because I had no clue what the show was about. I just knew that there was this really great show that was being worked on out of town. And so started the run, doing the thing. You guys know Vanessa Hudgens? She came in town to. She's pretty great actor. There's this movie called High School Musical. She played you should. We'll watch it together. We'll watch it together. It's really great. Great study material. She came in town to visit. She was doing some press stuff. She came in town to visit, come see Hamilton, and then at the time, Hansen was doing Sunday night shows as well. Just for that period. So Ben had just been on. They had just gotten on. Ben had been on for a few weeks at this point. We went to see the show. I couldn't keep myself together. It was an unbelievable theatrical experience and one that I will never forget. I actually tweeted a whole kind of rundown of my personal experience watching the show. Kind of, sent that out to everybody. So here I am now. I'm an Evan Hansen, and I am obsessed with the show, and I'd seen it 4 times or something, some dumb number like that in between seeing it for the first time and then seeing Andrew, and then came back, met Andrew, did the whole thing, worked with Michael Greif on Rent live, and then it was there was some jokes back and forth between me and Adam Quinn and Michael about oh yeah, and whenever you come do Evan Hansen one day, and I'm like, please. I was working on another project here and got a call asking if I would be interested in doing it, and if so, when's the timing, how can we fit it in, blah 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 blah, and it just kind of worked out. Came to the city and met with Michael and Benj and Steven and Ben and whatnot, and signed on, and here we are.
This is history.
We'll see. I'm excited. I'm very excited. And obviously, the rehearsal process has been incredible. And, to be able to, the culture of the building is in such a great place. The culture of the theater is in such a great place, and it's so full of love, and it's so warm. I've never been so warmly welcomed into a company before. And Andrew, being kind of the captain of the ship right now it's been a beautiful thing to be able to watch him and watch the growth that's happened over the course of the year of getting to know him. It's been a really beautiful thing.
And can I just say really fast, he's so good. I haven't gotten to see anything or hear anything, but every time you had to put in a rehearsal, I'd be like, how did it go? And everyone's like,
oh, wait, really?
Everyone's just he is incredible. Everyone's just he's so talented and he's going to do such a good job. And I'm like, because I think when a famous person comes into a role, you're so cute. I think when a famous person comes into a role like this, people are is he gonna be good? And I was like, here's the fact. He's really, really ridiculously talented. And you really, really, really want to do a good job. And that is all that a person with your drive and your talent needs to do this. I'm gonna cry.
My emotions are paper thin at the moment. I saw a commercial the other day about a kid eating soup and a ball dropped off the table and his dog picked it up and gave it back to him, and I seriously teared up. I call my parents, I'm I'm not really sure what's happening right now. I look at things just the right way. I'm that's a beautiful door. That's a beautiful door that leads to so much right now.
Clearly, the rehearsal process is unlocking a lot for you.
It's being cathartic.
Yeah, it's being cathartic. But I have to say, as somebody I've seen Dear Evan Hansen multiple times, as anyone who has been fortunately sitting next to me knows, I sobbed throughout the entire thing, almost uncontrollably. So I want to know how you both kind of handle those emotions doing the piece, because it is there's a lot of really intense things that are going on, and I'm curious how you kind of channel that, all that out.
Yeah, well, we saw it uncontrollably.
Well, right, yeah.
That's what we do that too. That's what we do too. Yeah, I think there are two types of Evans. There's the type of Evan that can cry on command, and there's the type that can't, and I can't. So it was really a learning process of how can I actually feel these emotions, and it like sometimes it just comes, and then some days it doesn't, and I have to find another way. But the truth is, and something that Taylor Trench and I talked about a lot. Taylor Trench, who I replaced because he also couldn't really cry on command, and Ben Ross, who did on tour, is there are other ways to be sad. And there's something really interesting about Evan not crying and the audience crying for him. But he's still devastated, and you still see that. So, do I cry every night? Yes. Is it entirely consistent how much I cry or when I cry every night? No. And because it can't be if that's not something I have in my tool belt, and God bless the people that do. But so that's been an incredible journey to learn how to unlock and use and access those emotions.
Well, I mean, Evan, just in himself, is somebody that hopefully as an audience you see something in Evan that you can relate to, right? I mean, I think that the beauty of this cast and the Greifisms of all of the projects that like what Greif does, between Next to Normal and Red and so forth, is that he leaves a lot of things up to interpretation where relation is concerned. The foundation for Evan is he's actually a really good kid. He has a massive heart with pure intentions. But the transparency, and in terms of how it can be read, where the audience is concerned, entirely just depends on where you are in that night. I'm a bit of a leaky faucet, so for when it turns on, I'm like, okay. And I get a little snotty, and it's like, it is what it is. Evan said hankies, it's okay, we're fine. It's an interesting thing. You said it really beautifully, you articulated this very well, and that there's multiple ways to be sad. The thing is that he all he wants is the things he's dreaming of. His big "I Want" song happens very, very quickly at the beginning of the show, and that sets the tone for the whole thing. You can see the kid in Evan kind of grasping the thing. I am not 17. I had no idea. Yeah, I'm not 17.
You honestly look like you could be 17 and a half.
Thank God.
Thank God. But that said, there's time and years and life experience and things that you can definitely pull from, whether you're a Stanislavski method actor or you are super just method in general, or you are a Jack Nicholson who can have a conversation with somebody about sports and then the director say, all right, light it up. Speed. He goes, scream, hack, here's Johnny. It's literally what happened. That's an actual story. It was a sound guy he was talking to, was a guy holding a boom, and he's an old buddy of mine, and he was telling me the story about how they were working on The Shining. He was talking football with Jack Nicholson, and he turned around and banged on the door and did that famous that right into it. And some people can, like you said, some people, all actors are very different. Everybody has different things in their tool belt, and my own personal experience with depression and anxiety, and I have a therapist for a reason. It's the best thing you can do for yourself. He jokingly and not jokingly was like, man, it's going to be really good for you to get to use this. Right? And I was like, yeah, it's really wonderful to be able to use the things in life, and sometimes days are tough. Sometimes you can just release.
Which one I am right now. If I'm
I haven't even started, it's happening. It's I'm 2 years, and I don't do that.
That's great. I think because I started from a place of I'm really gonna go into this and be method about this and really be Evan every night, and that works for a lot of people. And in other roles and in shorter runs, I think it works really well for me. But I think I discovered that you can't sustain that. And it gives you less control over the performance, which I think in a show helmed by Michael Greif, who is so specific, there needs to be a level of control. So it was really about getting to know Evan as a person other than myself and not trying to merge the two of us. and making Evan, I now sort of see him as my best friend. Because I've gotten to know him so much, and to the point where I can sort of slip in and out of, now I'm going to be present and be him, and now I'm going to be sort of the puppet master of everything that's happening, not in an Evan is controlling the situation way, but in an Andrew is controlling the situation way. And that was a crazy lesson to learn, but such an extraordinary one that I got to. So in terms of getting out of it, I really use So Big So Small in the orchard as at catharsis. That's the moment to heal. That's the moment for healing. And if I listen to myself and listen to the words that I'm saying in that last monologue, the words that Jessica is saying in So Big So Small, then I can really heal and begin to heal by the end of the night.
Do video games help? I know you both are gamers, right?
Yeah.
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 Some would say
I'm not. He's a lot more. He's like a real gamer. I play The Sims. It's game, but I casually play The Sims, which, yeah, absolutely helps. Especially since I haven't really been able to go out this year. I've been like, why don't I go out in The Sims?
Yeah, I feel like I go out with The Sims. Sims can do anything that you can't.
Sims can eat so much pizza, and I can't until 6 o'clock today.
Is that going to be your first meal?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we're having like a little reception, so like whatever's there, which is usually pizza. So yes, pizza.
What's your happy trails dessert? Do you is it a secret?
I probably cheesecake.
Oh, a cheesecake?
Probably a cheesecake.
Well, we'll see it.
I don't know what they're getting for me, so I hope that it's.
Oh, I'm good.
It's got time now. Cheesecake.
I brought cakes for everyone, so you should grab a slice later.
I'll be getting my slice of cake. But yes, you love video games as well.
Yeah. So, well, it's an interesting thing. I have been a gamer for as long as I can remember ever holding a controller or sitting at a computer. It's been something that I've loved and respected in a very big way for a long time. If you guys have heard of this game called Kingdom Hearts, that franchise is actually. Yes! My dog's names are Sora and Kyrie. I have a keyblade on my keyring. I mean, there's not too much I could say other than the fact that like Kingdom Hearts is the reason why I love video games as much as I do, but more specifically why I love music the way that I do, and is a massive part of the reason why I began creating art in general. Kingdom Hearts like unleashed my imagination in a massive way. I'm very, very grateful for that.
That's so cool.
But I mean, like I had a part-time job at GameStop when I was 16. Like, yeah, seriously, like gaming's been a massive thing. And so I was kind of about two and a half years ago thrusted into the video game industry on the entertainment level and do a whole bunch of different things there. And my mom and my fiance's main concern for me is that they knew that video gaming was catharsis for me. That's like how I can unwind and do other things. And they're like, please don't let it like become work. Like let it continue to be love and enjoy. And my streaming life and like all of my friends that I've made in streaming and Twitch and like other content creators and whatnot it's been one of the most enriching things for me. And yes, it is medicinal and cathartic and fun, but it is also work. And I think that these two things don't have to be mutually exclusive.
That's so cool. You talked earlier about therapy. Obviously, a big part of the show is mental health and mental health awareness. I think that it's really unlocked something on Broadway that the audience has been craving, which is a space to talk about these sorts of issues. And I know the stage door is always filled with people who are spilling their guts. I've also been one of them. So I'm curious if you also have any advice on kind of how to manage that, because learning how to kind of manage through other people's emotions can be probably pretty tough.
Yeah, I think people feel very seen in Evan the way that I did, the way that you did the first time we saw the show. And so what I try to do is after someone's felt so seen in someone else, to make them feel seen in themselves. And so I'll ask what their name is, thank them for coming, thank them for their time, because often they'll be in tears. That's always a very beautiful moment that I get to share with someone every night. And I think it's important to remind yourself of this catharsis. Let's use it now, and let's be myself and listen to everything rather than just saying that was a very emotional experience. Wow. But to then, just to make sure also to make sure that you're okay after something like this, because it can bring up some really, really strong emotions.
obviously you had mentioned both that you related a lot to Evan. Is there something specific that in that character that you saw in yourself?
A lot of things.
Yeah, that's a deep question, actually.
Yeah, no, it's a very good question. You know, I'll, for the sake of not spilling too much unnecessary information about me, I'll dilute it by saying his yearning for the things that I am grateful to have is one of the most impacting things for me. How he manages to try to take care of himself and learn through that, and what's really cool being in the audience for this is that you are with Evan the entire time. You are with him in his thoughts when he's alone. You are with him, you know, when he has kind of fabricated this being in Connor, who, you know, obviously is no longer with us at this point in the show. And even the way that he like envisions Connor is still like Connor is still bigger and tougher and cooler than Evan. You know, I think that I try my best to not necessarily, you know, put on faces when I don't need to, but I definitely try my best to be present and intentional and all of these things that Evan is also trying his best to. But you see more of the struggle, and yes, it's much more childlike and much more out of control because of the things that he's dealing with. But I think just the sense of humanity and emotional intelligence, or at least the yearning to have enough emotional intelligence to navigate life and to navigate, like the show's about a boy who needs a family and a family who needs a boy. Like that's our through line here. We all yearn for and crave community and family and to be seen and to be heard. And I think that just, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out how to articulate this the right way. I think
you're really good.
You're really great.
Yeah, I think that, thank you, I appreciate that. I think that being in the entertainment industry for 16 years at this point, and this being a slow burn of the trajectory, just kind of doing what you would hope and dream that it does, it's given me time and experience and essence and humanity that I have grown to learn what I'm capable of dealing with and what I simply do not have the energy to deal with. And for Evan's journey to watch the struggle it's a very internal kind of battle that we all have. Like I of course want to be seen and heard and feel loved and have family and whatnot, and I'm very grateful that I do. But I think that to a lot of people in the general public, it needs to be certain things. Like I need to say certain things. I have to be a certain way and whatnot. And Evan is learning, trying to figure out how he needs to be and what he needs to say and how he needs to go through it. That's like, I think that we all daily deal with this thing, deal with like the Evan struggle of like,
Feedback loop.
yeah, like how do are you done talking? Are you expecting me to say something right now that makes you feel good, or do I tell you the truth, or do I like, you know, all of those little struggles that he deals with that makes the language what it is, and why Stephen Levinson is so genius. That is the tether for me where Evan is concerned.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I completely relate to that as somebody who grew up gay. Like, your whole life is putting on a performance as a child of being somebody else, and then your whole adulthood is figuring out who you really are. So, I mean, this unlocked a lot for me. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, ditto to all of that. I think I am sort of, what's interesting is that I never really discussed or even really dived into my own mental health and my own issues and until Evan really opened up this conversation. It's like, if I'm going to talk about it, I need to talk about this. And so, you know, again, without spilling too much of myself, it's begun my own journey in discovering that and dealing with it the way that Evan learns by the end of the show to deal with it. So it's been an incredible education, but I think I'm very familiar with that thought process more than I really knew that I was, but that was what resonated with me so much was the thought process of, what am I doing wrong? What did I do wrong yesterday? What am I going to do wrong tomorrow? That's Evan in a nutshell, and that's what sends this story down its path is him needing to put a Band-Aid on every wound in the world and being so overwhelmed with it all that he can't help but wave through a window and not be able to break through. And so
I see what you did there. I saw it.
thank you. So there's a song in the show, but yeah, so it's that sort of thing that I really began to learn about myself, but it was something that I always had, was that feedback loop of what am I doing wrong, why am I thinking about what I'm doing wrong, everything that he's feeling, and everything that everyone is feeling, and that's why the show is so successful, because it is such a universal thing and so necessary now.
Right. Well, we're all here at BroadwayCon, and I think the thing that unites all of us in this room is that we're all theater kids. We all grew up loving theater, fell in love with theater team, theater warriors. I want to know how you both kind of fell in love with theater. What was your first introduction into this world?
I saw Beauty and the Beast at the L'Enfant-Tent. I never know how to pronounce that theater.
Oh, that's good.
Is that what I meant? I've been saying it's the Palace Theater for this entire time, and I found out recently that it moved from the Palace,
yeah.
which is great because the Palace doesn't exist anymore. So I'm happy that it's a theater that I can go back to. So I saw all sorts of shows with my family. It took me to a lot of shows just to expose
Grew up on Long Island, right?
Yes, I grew up on Long Island, so
That's strong.
but yeah, so I went to see a lot of shows, and then when I was 8, someone was like, hey, there's this theater company, they're doing Annie, you should go be in it. And I was like, this is a thing we can just go and do? We don't have to be chosen by God or something. I couldn't wrap my head around. So I played Mr. Bundles, a laundryman, in a truly horrible production of it. Truly bad.
I've done a couple of those.
The day of the show, they were like, where's your suit for this scene? I was like, nobody ever told me that I needed it. And I went out in my Mr. Bundles sweatsuit to play a butler in the mansion. It was all a lie. But
Please tell me there's video somewhere.
I truly do not think there are, because it was so bad, and if there were, they've been deleted, because and then I just I caught the bug, and I would do literally 5 shows at a time in different theater companies. I started my own theater company, Sneefar Productions, and it's my life, is not even just performing, but storytelling and writing and creating stories. And
It's very creative.
Yeah, he's super good.
Very creative.
You started your theater company,
Yes.
your bar mitzvah money, I read.
Yeah, and then I remember it was so when you're on bar mitzvah, you have to do in some areas or depending on the temple you attend, you have to do a bar mitzvah project where you do community service. It's most people just do any old thing, they volunteer a nursing home or something, and that's great. I was like, well, I should use the things that I love, and I have a brother who's on the autism spectrum, so I started this theater company, Sneefar. Hell yeah! And so I started this theater company, Sneefar Productions, to raise money for an organization called Nights for Autism that is incredible. If you've seen The Night of Too Many Stars on HBO, that's them. They're amazing, and if you haven't seen that, it's the best night of the year. You should check it out. But yeah, so it started with just small cabarets, and now this year we are doing 3 shows.
Wow.
So you'll hear more about those soon.
Can you just stop and talk about that for a second? You started a theater company when you were a kid to raise money for autism. I rode my bicycle in
Well, I haven't ridden a bike. I don't think I know how to ride a bicycle, so.
I'm going to teach you.
We'll learn.
If you haven't figured this out yet, Jordan Fisher's my dad, by the way. But yeah, so we're doing this Star Wars thing in a couple weeks.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a musical I wrote in 8th grade that isn't very good, and that's the bit, and that's why it's fun. But we're doing it with Broadway people and a bunch of dear Hansen people. And
I saw Will Rollins.
we just announced Will Roland as C-3PO. So there's a trio in the show, and then I'm going to stop talking about this. There's a trio in the show. It's C-3PO, R2-D2, and Mickey Mouse. Don't ask questions about it. It's Will Roland, Jared Goldsmith, and Skylar Coda Lynch.
That's awesome.
On stage together. And now I'm going to stop talking about this. But yes, that's my history.
What about you, Jordan?
I also did a terrible production of Annie where I played not only an orphan, but I played Rooster and the Star to Be.
I played an orphan later in Annie. There are no male orphans in Annie. Who's
but there was a male orphan in my Annie.
I was so much smaller than I was Rooster, but I could sing. I was so much smaller.
It's the best track in Annie.
Oh my god. No, the best track is the Star to Be.
Yeah, But to do that and Rooster and an Orphan?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I live for the idea of a Broadway moment of like being maybe not. I'm not on a ranked stage, but coming out with bags and running to the front, and going NYC like that. Just it's so good.
There's actually, we talk about this a lot at the theater, and you should have to talk to Gabby about this. There's a compilation online. You remember when people were doing those compilations of like Christopher Columbus, and it was like all really good. There's one at the start of D, and it is the best video.
Oh my God!
And I encourage you to look at it.
I just watched one. Wait, in the understudy room with we were on a Legally Blonde kick upstairs. I was like gonna trail, and then I just didn't, and I ended up just hanging in the understudy room. We watched a compilation of
Take a break?
We're gonna take a break!
It was iconic. Changed the game.
So good, so rich. How did I start in theater?
I can go on forever.
I had a crush on a girl in 5th grade, and I was a gymnast. She was the new girl in school. All the guys had a crush on her, including me. And she asked me at recess if I was going to join the drama club, and I was like, yeah.
That's High School Musical. That's High School Musical.
That's a plot to High School Musical. I was going to be there anyways. I was fine. I'll see you there. I was way cooler than none of this shit happened. But so I went over the course of my 5th grade year. This is actually a fun fact. I, according to my family and all of my friends, was tone deaf until one day in 5th grade I woke up and I could sing. I always thought that I could, and I always sounded the same to me. But according to my family and my friends, it was not good at all. Until one day, literally, you can ask my mother. Like one day, I woke up in 5th grade and I could. Wow, it was very odd. But I think that it had a lot to do with my 5th grade music teacher, Mr. Byers. Hi, Mr. Byers. He's not watching this. I don't know, there was something over the course of my 5th grade year that things just kind of started to unlock for me, and I loved music already, and I thought that I was okay at singing, but I very much wasn't. And I got the Conjunction Junction solo at Schoolhouse Rock Jr. So the course of my... Thanks, guys. So of course, it's a...
I was on Mr. Bill, baby.
Oh my God, I'm Mr. Bill, yeah, I'm only up there.
Thank you, almost Schoolhouse Rock Live Junior for you right now.
So that was January of my 5th grade year through December of my 6th grade year. So the course of a 12-month period, I decided to quit gymnastics and fully focus on theater. Did my first school play, first community theater show, first 2 regional shows, joined a professional theater organization, joined a year-round youth conservatory, and then did my first professional show that December. So it was literally, that 1 year, I started burning the candle at both ends with a flamethrower. And fell in love, and I was like, this is what I want to do, and somehow ended up in LA long before I even came to New York. Theater was the thing, and I was in, like I said, a theater conservatory, a fantastic one named Red Mountain Theater Conservatory, and Red Mountain Theater Company, and I was in their conservatory program. Who knows what's
We're gonna turn the lights. We're gonna figure out who.
Yes, come on. Yes, RMTC, fantastic company. We have a handful of alumni that are either on Broadway or on at national equity tours right now, or in film or in television. Like Keith Grummo is the executive director, mentor of mine, that really reshaped this company and made it unbelievable. So fantastic production, so on and so forth. Anyway, moved to LA when I was 13. I started going back and forth. I was doing theatrical productions and auditioning for TV and film and making music and whatnot. And burning in my spirit was the fact that I still had not done Broadway, and I really wanted to do Broadway. And my team was like, just keep making a name for yourself in TV and film, and eventually Broadway will call. And I was like, but I want to do it now. And they were like, no, shut up, just listen to us. And then it happened. One thing led to another, and then I did Grease, and Grease happened, and it went well. I still don't really understand what the big. I played Duty. It wasn't
Me
that.
too. Have we talked about this?
We have talked about it. No, man. I've seen the shrine in your house. A little Duty Grease
That's
shrine.
right.
Good. And then Hamilton happened, and
So wait, you don't understand why people fell in love with you on Grease Live? Is that what you're saying?
I'll just say this, and I'm not questioning it. Like I'm okay. Like I'm happy, and I appreciate it. I watched it for the first time, like when they did the re-airing for Easter. So this was some months later. I was on a flight, and it happened. happened to just be playing right there in front of me. And I was like, look, I'm gonna watch it. Let's see what this is all about. And I start doing the thing and playing the song. And I was like, this is cool. It's a cool moment. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful that everything kind of
Well, I'm gonna be totally frank with you. It's because you were so hot in it. I think I did it like a year later, and then or maybe it was around the same time, I don't remember, but I played it like stupid, which I was like, this is probably how you're supposed to do, right? And then I was like, you can do it hot? I didn't know.
That's how I felt too. We were all sitting at home being like, okay, guitar moment. Okay, you were unbelievable in that moment. That's not else great. I mean, you before that, of course, had Teen Beach Movie.
Oh, yeah.
So you were all gagged over.
That's when I was 17. That's when I was 17 and shirtless. I'm not 17 and shirtless any longer.
Well, I was 10 and shirtless and once on the sideline junior.
You sure were. You've done once on the sideline like three times.
3 times, all white, all junior.
10 years ago.
How about the ones on this Long Island?
What's this?
There be no more. Let the clouds race by. Yes, the wolf is the sea, let the tide be high. That's literally what it was. With vest.
It's my favorite
I
visual of all
had a
time.
blue vest and no shirt, and I was 11 or something, and I had a purple chef's hat and like dress, and I was like, let me be known.
Riffing all over the place too, dude.
I definitely, of course you did.
Joy, I also want to talk about last year tomorrow, but actually last year tonight was Rent Live.
Yes.
So last year tonight was the dress rehearsal for Rent Live, which actually ended up being what we all saw because of that terrible injury.
Yeah.
So a year later to be here on Broadway, what a crazy ride that's been.
Wild. Well, the fact that it's Michael Greif and Adam Quinn, who's just a fantastic associate director, and yeah, I mean it's a wild thing. I don't know if any of you know me at all, you know that my number one dream role for forever was Mark Cohen. I always wanted to play Mark Cohen. Thank you. I loved the actual complexity of Mark and how, like, his lineage and how he ended up where he was and with the people that he was with and dating the woman that he was dating and doing the thing that he was doing after growing up upstate with a silver spoon in his mouth and whatnot. Like there were so many things that I wanted to explore with Mark that I had not really seen explored before, that I was able to talk with Michael about and be like, hey, I feel like he has a device. I feel like, for him to be, like, did you guys know that, like, from December 24th, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, all the way through La Vie Boheme is one night? Like, okay, so let's get it straight here. He's working on this film at the beginning of the thing. The power goes out. Mimi comes in, does the thing. Blah 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 blah. Collins gets mugged. He meets Angel. The whole thing. He brings over some Stoli. Stoli happens. All of a sudden, Mark ends up at Maureen's lot doing the show. Like, how does he get the courage to go down there and do the thing? From there, the Mark that you begin with to the Mark dancing on tables at the Life Cafe. I'm like, there's some alcohol happening in here.
Oh yeah.
Michael, we need to talk about. I just wanted to explore some things with you, and he was like, I very much look forward to us having these conversations.
That's what my career sounds like.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
And so being able to play with it was really great. And obviously work with Vanessa and Brandon Victor Dixon again, who was my Burr in Hamilton, and that man. I'll cover you reprise.
I know, I'm still not well from it. That was pretty amazing.
Oh my God.
The definitive version.
It's just so good. Like, we had dinner the other night. I'm going to put him on fly. We had dinner the other night. And he was like, but there's some things I know I do well. And that's one of them. Yeah. No, of course, he should know. Like, that's absolutely my favorite part of the show. And he just wrecked me. Fun fact. So I want to discover something as true as this is. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Keanu's character, she stands up and goes, the guy that jumps up to do it then was Roger in the movie, which is very interesting to me. But it's supposed to be one of the ensemble, and I asked Michael and Adam and like everybody to test Stephen because I was like, can I do that part? I was like, I really love that part, and I really would like to do it, and there's Brandon and Kiala, and it would really like make my day if I could just do it. And they were like, no, see, why not? And I was like, bah! It's like genuinely just something about, like, oh, theater kid moment, something about just like sitting down and standing up and just skrelting in like a park and bark like this just feels so good. And I go, oh. Anyway.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. Hi.
I'm off my soapbox now.
We're talking about so many things.
We're talking about so many things today. So we're doing this thing called Darren Hansen.
Wait, but I have to, I will get in trouble if I don't ask you about To All the Boys That Loved Before. It's coming out on Netflix February 12th, and I'm so excited about it because I loved the first movie.
You did.
So much. Were you a big fan of the first movie?
I was. I watched it so late. So was up to date with the fact that this awesome film on Netflix, I think I really need to watch it. It's this very pedestrian, very honest, very human, very like dialogue-y, truthful, you know, kind of rom-com. I'm a sucker for romance, I'm a sucker for comedy, like an extra sucker for rom-com. So I was like, yeah, I would love to watch it. And so when I got the call about the film, I was wrapping up a project here, flew back to LA. On the flight back, I watched it. It was like it was audible when I was watching it. Like Noah Centineo and I have been friends for a very long time, close to 10 years, but I'd never seen him like be, he's a very charming individual. I'd never seen him be the Noah Centineo, Peter Kavinsky before, and I was like,
Dreamy.
whoa! And I was audible on this flight watching the movie going, ooh. Like the hot tub scene and gin and the whole thing. So I get the call and landed in LA, flew right back up to Vancouver, read with Lana, and all of a sudden the next week I was there and filming the movie. And while we were filming it, we felt like it was super special, but apparently there was a fan screening the other night that I wasn't able to go to, unfortunately, and people are really liking it.
Yes!
So we'll see. February 12th, be a fun Valentine's Day, you know, thing.
And speaking of love, you mentioned her earlier, but your fiance, you guys got engaged in May. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank
You guys all see the video you posted on Instagram. It was super duper sweet.
Thank you.
That moment. Any wedding plans? Where are you guys now?
Yeah. It's pretty much, the plans are almost done for the most part. We're getting married in July in Hawaii.
Wow.
It's my favorite place in the world. Yeah, I have Ohio on my collarbone. I'm Tahitian, I'm not even Hawaiian, but I am Pacific Islander. So there's like a spiritual kind of thing that happens when you're on Pacific Island and have blood from there. And I'm the best version of myself when I'm in Hawaii. And I know that, and I took her there, and she fell in love with it too. And we're like, okay, we're getting married here. That's it. But we were 9 and 13 years old when we met. We grew up best friends, and so to have that, you guys are so cute.
It's the sweetest thing in the world.
So it's really great.
Is she a theater kid? Does she love theater?
Yeah, so we grew up we met at the theater conservatory that I was talking about earlier. She was like a little sister to me because that age gap at that age is like massive. And then we got older, and she became more of a friend. And then we didn't see each other for like 3.5 years and reconnected. She came to see Hamilton, which is like not a bad way to impress a girl. Like I'm just and I'm John Lawrence. Like John Lawrence just gets to like be stupid and charming and sexy for an act, and like the turntable moment at the beginning of the wedding. Hey. I caught her in the audience in my house seat. Caught her and like, guys, it was so cornball, but like also she agreed to marry me, so she knows what she's getting into.
Are there going to be show tunes at your wedding? Will there be Broadway songs?
Possibly.
Okay, all right. That wasn't a solid yes. We're going to go with a no.
That would actually be a really good like dance song, wouldn't it?
I mean, yeah, give me some.
Carson, can you remind me to?
Forever sounds like a really good first dance. I'll just put it that way.
It is about a kid who killed himself.
Maybe change the lyrics.
The title is really great.
Yeah.
There we go, racing towards.
Okay, all right. Andrew, I'm curious, are you snatching anything tonight when you're done from the set? Taking home anything You're not supposed to. Oh, some Dearman Hansen socks. I see there.
Yeah, I cut up my polo. Maybe I'm kidding. So I think we get polo. I think they're gonna give you.
You're gonna get the polo. That's pretty
If
big.
they give it to me, I
Just take it.
And I have like 200 casts, and it was like my Christmas gifts to everyone, is I give them casts from the show.
What a good idea.
I know, and then I didn't have to like think about what to get people. I was like, can you just saw this off of my arm?
Write that
so
down.
I think.
Put me on your Christmas.
Oh, is there a cast in the show?
Yeah, I'm just gonna write this and make sure to save my camera.
Finding himself. Like Andrew, hey,
So I think I'm good. And I will take away the experience and friendship. I thought I would get more of a laugh, but. And I think Jordan Fisher's moving in with me, guys. This is a big new announcement.
We've been talking about that.
Really?
Yeah.
We have been talking about it, though. I like joking about it because I love you so much.
You too. I want to figure out a way to just do the show together. Can we?
I know, we've been talking about sideshow style.
I
I'll give you a back-to-back moment.
Like we do a harmony.
Oh my god.
Terrible.
Really?
But we should do it.
We're not getting whole built enough for like the both of us.
People would like to see
I have a show
No.
I have a show today. He's 2 shows to do on Tuesday, pretty much.
Fine.
Put in.
Yeah, he's good. No.
Guys, we're tired.
Sleeping. What will you miss the most?
Oof. Evan. Easy answer is he really has become like my best friend, and like he's like the first person I say goodnight to every night after the show, and like he's just getting to know him has been the greatest gift. So you know, he'll always be a part of me, and hopefully one day we can meet again and hang out like we've gotten to. But and then of course all these people and Jordan and all these people that I've gotten to work with, and you know.
It's already happening.
Going to tears.
So yeah, I'm just doing it and meeting all of these incredible people and all you guys and all the art and support and the love at the stage door and online. It's meant so much to me. So thank you guys for everything. It's too early.
It's too early. But I told you, I'm a dad, guys. Like I'm
Really crying.
I'm just really proud of you. You've done so well. You kicked ass. It was so good.
I don't know if you feel the way I feel, but I wish that I had that poise, that intelligence, that talent when I
So
was
good.
17 years old.
Just the kindness and like nothing has changed either. Like from when I met him to now, it's like nothing has changed.
That's what I hear is a monster backstage. I mean, just a big teaser.
When is Evan ever backstage? Evan's never backstage. That's the thing.
Have you started moving into the dressing room yet? Like,
No.
That experience.
No.
No, but have you guys watched the video that we made? The
Yes.
The video, they just put it on the YouTube last night, and Jordan begins to move in at the end of the video, so you guys should watch it. It's my Jimmy got stolen, so we have to find him. So you can watch the video. It's important.
I'm a big thing about space and catharsis and people that go through their own journey and stuff, and so I don't like to put any of me in a room until like they have determined that they are totally done with the room and have like said goodbye to the room and whatnot. Like I'm just a stickler about that kind of thing. So I'm like,
Yeah, you like when you had to put in the other day, and then like you came in and you were like, I'm so sorry. You're like taking all your stuff. And I was like,
no, because it's still home. It's home for you literally until like I'm at the theater Tuesday. So like that's yeah.
But then you're gonna paint it like a totally different color.
I'm gonna repaint it. Yeah, I'm gonna repaint it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna repaint it.
You yourself now.
Yes.
No.
I would love to see that.
no, I'm gonna repaint it.
That's what happens when you leave an apartment. You have to paint it back. Or else you won't get your deposit back. This is very New York City real estate is pretty intense.
That's wild.
I'm also curious what you've learned from Evan.
I think I always like to think of myself as an empathetic person. I think that's how I was raised. But Evan has brought that to new levels, and I see every person more clearly, I think, now, and the people who take up space and the people who don't, who choose really not to take up any space. I understand where everyone is coming from Evan, and just from opening up my heart to him, like, and now it's just so much more open in general, and I'm so thankful that I just appreciate every interaction more. And I'm just so thankful for life now more because of him. So.
Is there a song you're like, I'm actually looking forward to not singing that song again?
Okay, listen.
Not because you don't love them, but you know.
I love singing Waving so much, but I have had actual nightmares about it. It is so scary every day. It has never not been scary. And I, like, you can ask anyone in the theater, I literally walk around and I'm like, hey guys, waving! Like, I fully just like walk, it's like my mating call. And so, like, and so, yeah, I'm terrified by it. So, like, I'm probably gonna cry a lot about not singing it again, but also, like, oh my god, I get to wake up tomorrow and, like, not think about singing that song.
It's a hard song.
I love singing it, I just don't love thinking about singing it.
Right. I mean, it's interesting because it's like there's kind of an act 1 and an act 2 where that song is concerned. It's like by the time Zoe goes on stage and you turn around, we stop, and from that point on, it's just a locomotive. To see the care that he gives, like the bridge of that song, like and the positive kind of nature of the arrangement. Especially watching Ivan do it, like he has such a beautiful take on Larry, and he's so warm and so like it's become a really. It's also a bit of a resting moment for Evan as well, but I love that moment in the show, and I did not expect to.
And something that we talked about earlier, and so that I really discovered is that moment where Evan, it's like at the very, very end of the song, when Evan is like, okay, here's the truth. My dad left, he's his own kids. He's essentially saying, I'm not worth your time. I screwed things up. Like my dad left. I'm not expecting you to be here for me, but thank you. And Larry says, shave and cream, rubber bands, matches repeat, which is, I see you, I love you, and I'm here. Because neither of them are very expressive in that moment. And so Larry is saying to Evan, no, I get you, I'm here for you. And that is something that I really, really resonates with me.
Black Lives
I gotta work through something for a second. That's really intense.
It's a powerful moment, and it's something that, like the same, I never really thought about that.
There's so much that doesn't need to be said in a lot of moments in the show, and I think that some of the unspoken kind of voids that seem like dead space is a conversation in itself. And there are a lot of these moments that are had throughout. Oh God, Evan and Heidi, even Evan and Cynthia. I mean, that tie scene before the assembly, like there's so much. There's so much there. It's a fine line.
I want to thank you both so much for your time today, for your kindness, for your openness in these conversations. And you both broke barriers with these roles. The youngest person to ever play Evan, the first person of color playing this role. And we're so excited in this transition to kind of see what happens in the future and to see what happens in your future. Thank you both so much.